How do you take your flat image from this to your converted Rec 709 look to your corrected look with your right white balance and adjustments and curves to more of a stylized feel? All right, cool. Let's get inside Premiere and work on this. So basically in an empty project, what I'm gonna do, so first things first, let's get these nested clips out of the way. And let's start with our video. We're gonna drag our main video to the timeline. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and okay, so right about here we're gonna cut it. We're gonna come towards the end and we're gonna keep it right there. Okay, and we are gonna get started with our work for today. I'm gonna unlink the audio and nest both of those cuts. All right, before we get started, we are gonna go to our layers. We're gonna bring in our conversion layer. We're gonna bring in our correction layer for layer 2, our sharpen layer for layer 3, layer 4 for our creative look, layer 4 for creative look, and then layer 5 for our fade layer. All right, cool. So as we can see, we have something that looks like that. We are gonna un-eye all the layers except for the base layer, which is for our layer 1. All right, we're gonna zoom in a little bit. Okay, and then we're gonna get started very soon. All right, so if you are watching this video, I want to thank you for following this series. This is Color Grading Made Easy, Beginner's Guide. This is session 7. I hope you have been enjoying it. I'm basically trying to make the color grading process easy for you. You basically butt a whole bunch of LUTs and you're like, these LUTs are just not cutting it. And you're always like, man, I can't keep wasting money on LUTs. You see gamut LUTs, you're seeing phantom LUTs, you're seeing buttery LUTs, you're seeing all kinds of LUTs. And you're like, do I need to keep getting new LUTs? Okay. The reality is just work with what you like. If you see a look you like and you went for it, stick with it and grow from there. Okay. So the idea of what I'm doing is simplifying the color grading process for you. Okay. All right. Let's get back into Premiere and get to work. All right. So we have our base look. We are gonna convert that with our Lumetri color panel. We're gonna you can use whatever you want. Okay, as you can tell, the original from Sony, Sony 709 gives you this. The low contrast gives you this. The low contrast type A gives you this. Okay, I'm gonna use buttery for mine. Okay, it's a bit cleaner in my opinion. All right, so once I have my conversion, I'm going to go to my correction layer. In my correction layer, what I'm going to do there, I see there are some shadows here. There are some shadows. It's hard for you guys to tell because I zoomed in, but there are some shadows here. There are some shadows here, okay? And there are some shadows here, so I'm going to just use my shadows to bring those up. We can start from 30. Okay, and 30 looks good. Let's try and push it to 50. Let me see how that looks. Cool, 50. I like the vibe of 50. I like the vibe of, let me try 40. Yeah, I like the vibe of 50. Yep, I like that. Okay, so I'm pushing the shadows so it doesn't look too shadowy because we're gonna have to bring in contrast and stuff like that. Okay, and talking about that, let's dial in 20 for our contrast. Okay. for our highlights, I'm not saying much we need to do there. If you boost it, it's only gonna get a little too bright, I guess. So uh, I guess the contrast can be pushed a little bit. Let's try 15. Let me see, 20. Okay. Let me try 10. Yeah, I don't want to push my contrast too much, so let's just do 10. Okay. And that's all I'm gonna do. I don't need to really bring up exposure or anything. I think it's fine. Yep. And then let's go to our curves. We can draw S curve. We can, since we're trying to get rid of the shadows, if we bring it down, we are gonna keep getting more, so we can bring it up for this edit. Okay, I normally don't do it this way. Okay, I'm gonna bring it up, not too much, just a tad bit. Then for my highlights, normally you can go ahead and increase it, but for the purpose of this lesson, let's do it this way. Actually, you know what? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna drag the low. I'm gonna bring it a little bit, and for my highlights, I'm gonna just do it this way. Okay, I think I like this better. I like it this way better. Yeah, I'm gonna do it this way. Okay, and without what I did, it looks like this. With what I did, it looks like this. Okay, and I think I'm cool with that. So then we can work on our colors. So first things first, we can go out a little bit. Let's fit. All right, so as you can tell, it's already a lot of colors, so you don't want to overdo. So let's start with our yellows. We can boost it a little bit. Okay, we can do whatever color this is. Okay, all right, all right. Okay, and then for our reds, it's already good, so I will tell you not to boost it too much or you're just gonna mess it up. Okay, so you may even need to reduce it, but for me, I'm just gonna give it a little bit. Yeah, I think this should be fine. Not too much. It's already contrasty, so you may want to dial down, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna add a little bit of life to it. Okay, cool. And I think those are all the colors I want to work on, with the exception of her lips. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do for her lips. So I'm gonna come on. Yep, something like this. Okay, just a little life there. Okay, so just minor adjustments. Okay, so without that, with it. Okay, so we are not doing much there. All right, the red is very strong, so you may want to dial that, tone that down if you need to. But I have a different thing that I want to do with that. Okay, so for now, I'm gonna keep it there. There's not much you can do here. Maybe your luma versus saturation. If it's a little too contrasty for you, you can maybe bring that down a little bit, and that will give you a good look. Or you can decide to boost it if you feel you need more. Okay, so I think for this, we can just tone it down a tad bit. Not too much, because we'll be defeating the purpose of what we are doing. So be careful. All right, just toning it down a little bit. Yeah, I think it's good. Okay. Then we can do our color wheels. So for the color wheels, we can go a little bit more to the reds for the midtones. And for the shadows, we can go a little bit cooler. Okay, and I think that's good. You guys see that? So we got out a lot of the greens. You guys can tell there's a whole bunch of greens. Okay, kind of took care of that. Not gonna do anything with the highlights, okay? Then the HSL, okay? With the HSL, you click on red. Let's go ahead and actually let's keep it like this for now. All right, we're gonna click on the face, and we are gonna click on color gray. So we can start with the top H for likely highlights. So like I said, I always have a tough time with these. So you're really gonna have to take time and balance it. So for the purpose of not wasting time, I'm probably not gonna waste too much time with this once I get something decent. Okay. All right. Okay. Man, I never have fun with these. It takes a while to really work on this the right way. Let me see here. Okay. All right. So I think this looks good here. All right. I don't want to waste time with this, so I'm gonna stick with I'm gonna stick with this here. Um, let's add about 10% of blur. The noise, let's add about maybe 40. Um, yeah. And for the correction, the midtones, let's see. All right, so the midtones, let's get more towards the red, orange, okay. And for the shadows, let's try and get it. No, no. Let's get it somewhere in between the yellow oranges. Okay, and I think that's good there. We can increase the midtones a little bit. Okay, and I think that looks good. You can tell we are close to the line, okay? That looks good to me, and we're gonna keep it like that, okay? Good. Um, if you wanna add a little bit of contrast, you can. You can maybe do 20. Okay, and the saturation, if it's a little too strong for you, you can go ahead and dial it down, maybe 90. Okay, or maybe even 95. Okay, cool. And that's everything you need to know about the HSL. Okay, so without that HSL adjustment, we look like this. With the HSL adjustment, we look like that. Okay, so see what is happening without. Okay, so let's look at what we've done so far. Okay, so what we've done so far, we went from our log footage to our converted. Hold on. All right, so our log footage to our converted to our corrected. Okay, and pretty much that's where we are at right now. Okay, and before we do anything, We can go to our fourth layer for the purpose of speeding this fast. Go to our creative panel from the lumetri color panel and find something we like for the sake of moving fast. Let me pick something like this here from Buttery, new creative one. I'm gonna take this down to about 20. And for the saturation, I think I'll leave it there. Let me try 95. Okay, yeah, let me leave it at 100. Okay. We are not gonna sharpen anything. We are not gonna touch anything else. I think that looks good. We don't need to worry too much about that. Okay. So just a little creative look. Okay, to it. All right. So we went from our log to our corrected, we went from our log footage to our converted Rec 709 to our corrected, okay, where we made all the necessary adjustments. And then we are adding a finishing fill or stylized fill to it, which is our creative, okay? So pretty much that's that. Then the last thing, we can add our sharpen and fade, okay? So in this situation, we can do our sharpen, go to our effects, and we can do something like sharpen, drop both of them on. I like to use both. You don't need to use both. It's up to you. Make sure sharpen is at the top and let's do something. What exactly happened here? Something, did I click something? Okay, I must have clicked something. Let's go to our creative look. Let's see what happened. I must have done something. Okay. Yeah, not sure why, but not sure what happened. But anyways, let me make sure that is reflecting. Yep, that reflects. Okay, good. So our sharpen, we can do our unsharp. We can actually zoom in. Okay, can do something like an 80. For our radius, we can do something like a 3. We can keep the threshold at a 0. Our sharpen is going to come to the top. And we can do something like a 10. Okay, you guys can tell it adds a little bit distortion, so be careful with it. Going too high, you're going to get a lot, so be careful. So you may even have to pull back to like a 5. Okay, for a clean look. I think I'm going to be good with a 10. All right. So the last thing I want to touch on is noise reduction. I know I didn't do it in the beginning. Let me bring my converted, and we're going to go to effects, and we're going to go to noise reduction. Noise reduction. I'm going to use my neat video. Noise reduction. I'm going to prepare, and I'm going to build. And I can have it auto profile. And if not, I can select what I want. For now, we're going to keep it like that. Begin. And I'm not going to make any adjustments. I'm going to leave it there. So let's see if it's helping in any way. We can zoom in. And we can take off the noise reduction. You guys can see what it's doing, right? And then we can bring it back in. All right, so it's definitely helping in a way, okay? And we can see what it's doing with our wide fit, with our wide look. All right, so without and with, okay? All right, so we have everything done there, okay? So what we have so far, let's go through it. Okay. So we had our log footage. Okay. We converted it to Rec 709. We corrected it, making some adjustments, and then we added a creative look by stylizing it. Not that we needed to, but if you wanted to, you could do that. All right, so basically that's what we have. And so now that we have that, we can add another track. We can duplicate this track here, and we can nest our edit. Okay. Can add some fades. Okay. So we can push our edit to the right. And we can crop it on the left. Okay. And we can send our log to the further left. Okay. We can crop in a bit more. Let's do 30. Okay, 25. Cool. Looks good. We are gonna shift it a little bit more. All right, great. So that's what we have. If you have the time, you can render it. So let me see if it's gonna be fast render. If not, I'm just gonna play it in low quality. All right. So you can render it. That looks like it's gonna take a lot of time, so I don't have time for that. So I'm just gonna play it back. If I play back full, it's not gonna really play in real time. So I'm gonna lower it. Okay, let's lower it more. All right, cool. Let's just see what we've done so far. So basically, we are looking at our log footage on our left, and on our right, we are looking at our corrected footage. Okay. Again, it's not rendered, so you're not going to see it at its best. If you wanted to see it at its best, I'd have to render it. Okay, and that could take a while. Let's see. Yeah, that could take a while. So yep. So anyways, we see what we've done. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Great. And that will be our edited footage. Okay. So again, if you wanted to know exactly what work was done, we went from our log footage to our converted, to our corrected, to our final icing on the cake. Okay. And basically that's what we have. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Okay. I know it wasn't a good example because I couldn't play it back so you see what we've really done, but I'm going to render it, and then I'll probably just post it later. Okay, I'm gonna just render it and then just post it later as a separate video in a short form. Okay, all right, I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, it's time with FX3 Multimedia. Have a good one.
Thanks for watching.